Hello, how we doing out there, everybody? My name's Beans. This is another video. We're just doing Thursday night football, but we're gonna break down the game, and I'm gonna give a prediction, and I'm just a guy behind a camera and everything. Let's make sure that we're being kind and respectful to everybody, and most of all, be kind and respectful to yourself. You're the number one person in this world. Nobody matters more than you do. Thank you guys. If you enjoy the content, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and for those that have already hit the subscribe button and those that are out there that have subscribed to the channel, thank you, love you, appreciate all the support. Let's go ahead and get into this game. We've got the Denver Broncos that are 1-4, last in the AFC West, taking on the Kansas City Chiefs that are 4-1, first in the AFC West at home in Arrowhead. Kansas City Chiefs, they're ranked number 3 on the power rankings. Denver Broncos, they're 28th. And going into this, the ESPN analysts have this set at 85% in the favor of the Kansas City Chiefs. Broncos, let's start off with the injuries. The Broncos activated Greg Dulcich. He is questionable still, though. DJ Jones and Frank Clark, they are out for the game. They are not going to be playing. Over on the Kansas City Chiefs side, Travis Kelce is active. He is going to be playing tonight. So, anybody that's got him in fantasy, make sure that you're starting him. Uh, Broncos, the only game that they won was against the Bears, and Kansas City Chiefs unfortunately lost that first game of the year against the Lions because they were without Travis Kelce and Chris Jones. We have seen that it is a different side of things now with those guys back in. Pat Mahomes is going through a little bit of struggles, and thank God that Travis Kelce came back after going down with that non-contact injury to his ankle last week. It just didn't feel right to him. Appreciate the fact that his organization was able to find out what was going on and everything and get him back out onto the field and everything. Shout out to those guys over there, the Kelsey brothers on the New Heights podcast, my favorite sports podcast that's out there right now. Go ahead and go over there and check them out. It's some great content. And moving forward, let's dive into the stat leaders on the season for each team. We've got Russell Wilson, Jaleel McLaughlin, Marvin Mims Jr. for the Broncos, and then Pat Mahomes, Isaiah Pacheco, and Travis Kelce for the Kansas City Chiefs. First, Russell Wilson is 100 for 163 attempts, 1,210 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. On paper, he's not doing that bad. It's just this defense is literally last in the league in everything. Yards per game last, passing yards per game allowed 29th, rushing yards per game last, receiving touchdowns last, 29th, tied for 29th in the rushing touchdowns allowed. 126 points allowed by this defense, 21 touchdowns altogether. It's hard to watch this year, but Russell Wilson, his stats don't look that bad. Pat Mahomes, he's 123 on 184 attempts this year, 1,287 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. You look at those two side by side, like I am, and I know that Pat Mahomes is struggling, but that's pretty close. And moving on to the running backs, Jaleel, he's got 22 carries for 160 yards and a touchdown on this year. That's extremely underwhelming, but they're behind a lot. They're not running the ball. It's just really difficult to get that run game going with your defense performing the way that the Broncos have been performing. Isaiah Pacheco, he's got 71 carries for 325 yards and 3 touchdowns on the year. He's not doing too bad. Kind of he was looking like he was going to have a great performance last week and then kind of like just molded into an average performance. But he's still doing good. One of the few running backs that are out there that actually are I wouldn't say. Well, yeah, I wouldn't say that there aren't that many running backs producing, but the stat lines on everything across the league when it comes down to offense, there's just way more receiving touchdowns than rushing touchdowns. Receiving wise on this, Marvin Mims, he's only got 10 catches on the year, but thank God he's got 246 yards and a touchdown. Somehow he's getting that yardage in. Travis Kelce, he's got 27 catches for 222 yards and 3 touchdowns. Again, that guy is back in the game tonight. And honestly, with this, how everything's lined up, Chiefs are at home. They're first, 4-1. Broncos, terrible defense. I'm going to go with the Chiefs on this one. Agree with ESPN, and I'm going to go ahead and predict the score of 34-10. Broncos, they might get lucky to get a touchdown. They're going to have a couple attempts at a couple of field goals. They'll miss one. They'll make one. It's going to be a tough battle for them. My honest question is just, when is the Kansas City Chiefs going to take the foot off of the gas pedal? And this is a division rivalry, so that question, they might not take it off at all. We're talking about seedings and points and whatnot. So Kansas City Chiefs want to get that top spot. They're not going to take it easy on the Denver Broncos. 328.2 total yards per game for the Broncos. 224 passing yards per game. 104.2 rushing yards per game. 11 receiving touchdowns. And tied for third in the league with the receiving touchdowns. It's just unfortunate to see that defense. But we will see how everything turns out. That's about everything for me. The Chiefs got a little bit worse of a turnover differential, but not by much. Broncos have -2. Chiefs are -3. Special teams wise, the kicker for the Chiefs, can't think of his name off of the top of my head. But he's 10 for 10 on extra points, 14 for 14 on field goals. They've got 52 points off of the foot of the kicker alone this year. And the Chiefs offense, 381 total yards per game. That's 7th in the league. 258 passing yards per game. That's 7th. They drop down a little bit with the rushing and go down to number 12 at 143.8 rushing yards per game. But they got 10 receiving touchdowns and 4 rushing touchdowns. And like I said before, that's kind of the theme of stats this year. If you look at offenses, it's a lot of receiving touchdowns. It's a lot of passing. Running the ball isn't really what it used to be. And that's just the NFL that we live in right now. So hope that everybody enjoyed the video. That's going to be it. It's just one game for me. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate every single one of you, especially the ones that show their support. If you enjoyed the content, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and check out the other content. I've got a bunch of it, but gotta say it again. Be kind and respectful to others. Most of all, be kind and respectful to yourself. You're the number one person in this world. Nobody matters more than you do. Thank you guys. Have a fun time, and I'll see you next time.